Would Arsenal fans like a forward who could score 20 plus league goals? Recently, we've been linked with several forwards to name and show you lot a few of them. Osimhen, Tony, Gyökeres, Xerxes, Sesko, etc., etc. What if I threw a wild card into the mix? Someone who excelled in the Spanish La Liga division in the season that's just gone. Artem Dovbyk. Since joining Genoa, sister club of Manchester City, for a club record fee of £7 million, he has 24 goals and 8 assists in 36 games. He's 26 years of age, and so far in his career, he has displayed himself as a proven goal scorer and also displayed himself as one that's able to bounce back from adversity. As we'll discuss, people, the Ukrainian international striker is doing his thing really and truly for Genoa, people. He actually, once again, is their most expensive player in history, and he's hit the ground running and proved in hindsight, or to fans of clubs that have a bit more money or significantly higher record signings than such, people, to be a very shrewd addition for Genoa, as they finished third in La Liga and at times actually led the La Liga table, people. He's proven a good signing, and one that I'm sure their fans, their management, and everyone concerned wouldn't want them to let go. That being said, he's a worst kept secret in a day and age where there's a market where it actually isn't flushed with quality striking options, and it's a difficult situation looking at a striker. Do you go with someone that is the modern day that can contribute in all phases of play but doesn't actually score enough goals for your team, or do you go with a proven goal scorer who doesn't necessarily have all the other facets? I actually believe he combines both, people. He's actually become the first non-Barcelona or Real Madrid player to win the Pichichi in 15 years. Now, that's just a Spanish term for saying top goal scorer. So again, how could only Gyökeres could probably say he's had a better debut season for a club as a striker in the last season that's gone. He's won the Pichichi, he's qualified for the Champions League. He's probably over-exceeded his own individual sort of expectations. He definitely probably has to their fans and to the wider world of football. Genoa was a revelation at points, people, in that regards. He took only 6 minutes to score a hat-trick against Sevilla. He bagged against Barcelona. On the topic of the hat-trick, that was the fourth fastest in La Liga since the start of the 21st century. He's behind Kevin Guerrero, formerly of Sevilla, which it took him 4 minutes. David Villa also took him 4 minutes, and legend, also Villa is as well, but the legendary Luis Suarez did so in 5. So if you're next to them in any sort of statistics, you must be doing all right. What I like about him is, at first glance, you might not be drawn to him. He's got a great left foot. He's got a towering presence at 6'2", where you've seen Mikel Arteta has introduced a lot of height to our team. He can operate and coexist as a target man. He's got piercing movement and the ability to create space inside the penalty area. His pass map shows he can get involved in all phases of play. His ball progression is positive. Now, that being said, I wouldn't say he's the most flashy of striker, nor is he the greatest at all those other facets that I'm suggesting. But there's a willingness to do that, and he's able to do that to an okay standard. The best way I could kind of describe that sort of aspect is his general play is nowhere near Giroud's, but I think he's very good in that regards, in that he brings his more technically blessed players into play, and he'll distribute the ball into wide men as well. Now, you have to remember, take nothing away from him scoring goals. Genoa do play or primarily operate in a counter-attacking kind of system, and their wingers were the source of, to a degree, of creativity. You would not necessarily get that at Arsenal, although for obvious reasons with the existing players, there's a lot of transferables in that regards, people. He's not amazing at all of those aspects, but he shows a willingness to drop deep and offer himself as a focal point, as a target man, to get his team further up the field or to help alleviate pressure in games they're getting overran, people. And I think the 26-year-old does that to a good standard. I mean, the man's built like a tank. He's a good finisher. He drops deep to support the game flows. He looks to bring in the more creative players, as stated, into play, as well as the wingers. He doesn't look at first glance the most deceivingly of quick players, but when he turns and he gets into full stride, it is like a horse, people. He's very difficult to stop. You would imagine a striker that has 20 plus goals would obviously have good movement, and again, he looks very good, man. He makes his presence felt inside the opposition's penalty box. He does like like to stay in the middle and get onto the end of passes, people, which are attempted by his teammates. At a point last season, he was averaging 5.5 touches inside the penalty box per 90. Most of these touches have been in and around the 6-yard box. At an average of 2.95 shots per 90 minutes at a point, his accuracy is on the higher side, also at 52.4%. He's known to find space inside the box, as stated, and shown what he can do when given space and time, which is to the opposition's disadvantage. He misses few opportunities, people, if I'm completely honest with you. But again, he is up there for certain big chance miss stats. I'm not alarmed by that because Harry Kane in the Prem was there, Salah's there, Haaland's there. It's a game of averages. The more shots you have, the more, the more likely you are to bag and score, people. It's as simple as that, if I'm completely honest. What I believe sets him apart, people, is not just the obvious in terms of his goal scoring prowess. He's got a decent playmaking skills. He's contributed 8 assists. He showcases his versatility both as a goal scorer and somewhat as a provider for his teammates. That's a bit of a dual threat on the field and adds, another dimension to his overall impact, people. You can see what he does really and truly, if I'm completely honest with you. I mean, his work rate is also good as well, as you would imagine of someone from Ukraine. That's them kind of countries there, hard work is everything. And he's willing, his willingness to press defenders, to act as a focal point, to be a nuisance. This is obviously a massive help to his teammates, people. He has also been linked with Chelsea, Atletico Madrid, and AC Milan to name a few clubs. Apparently, while on the internet doing a Google search, there isn't too much information on his contract. Some reports suggest he has a 40 million release clause. Now, we've got to remember Genoa are part of the City group owned by Manchester City. Now, he's already been compared to Haaland. He's nowhere near Haaland in my opinion. But in terms of how they play, evidently there's going to be similarities. I think he's displayed himself as somewhat of a late bloomer, people. He bounced around in Ukraine for a bit, headed to Moldova, went to Denmark. Obviously, he's found his way at Genoa. So there's been some good and bad experiences in the 26-year-old's career already that, have probably helped him and made him more of an all-rounder, if I'm honest. So it begs the question, if we're looking at a wild card, someone that might be available for significantly less than some of the other targets, is this someone to have a look at, people? Is he here to stay in terms of, again, you look at the statistics for this season, he's announced himself to the footballing world, but is this season going to be one of many, or is this a purple patch? I can't answer that, people. But in conclusion, I think he's a good player. I like what I see. I don't know him religiously, but I guess he has to have featured not just on Arsenal's list of transfer targets for the striker position, but he has to be on the radar for several clubs. So I thought I would make a video on him. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, people. Would you take an opportunity on him? Would you not? Again, I appreciate all the support. I'm off to go and edit another video for you lot. Peace.